You,
So yeah, Max, you said you had an agenda. I mean, I'm looking at the old agenda. For the most part, it's like the agenda from the last meeting that we had. So
I changed it. No, are you looking at the most updated link, Griff? Because I changed up. I took out a bunch of stuff and I put in some new things.
In the chat here, man.
Yeah, like I can send what I got in mind. I see some interesting points in Jeff's as well. But I'm a bit distracted with this sale. I don't know if I should stop refreshing or what.
No, why
you don't need to refresh.
No, I mean like checking it overall, and should I not think about it?
Are you with Saya?
Yeah.
I mean, she can.
I can send her the link. Yeah. That makes sense. I'll send her the link so she will update it. Messenger. Okay, let's go. Which one we should choose? Jeff one or mine?
I vote we switch it up and go for it, Max. Everyone, it would be so happy if you took on the agendas for every meeting from here on. I'm pretty sure, right, Jeff?
Totally.
Yeah, sounds good. Cool. If you don't mind, I'll screen share so if you want to follow what I check. So yeah, like I think it's good to add live stream check, which is okay, right? What else do we check? Oh my gosh. No, I could take notes, but yeah, we can make it together. And timing, yeah, that's a good one as well. Good. So how to propose to do that is there is like a checklist which we go one by one. Each checklist item has the responsible person. So I hope this responsible person could give a short update what has changed since our last call. Is it okay with you?
Sure, go ahead.
Take it as yes. So updates on the fundraising campaign, Griff.
Let's see. The biggest updates. We're pushing forward with the advisors. We have solid minimum numbers. I still haven't really had a chance to see what Coach B has for the max numbers. And then I think it's just 25% over, but I'm not 100% sure. And then
Can I?
Yeah, go for it.
Can I speak to that right now? Because I did some work today and I spoke with Z today. And unless this is off topic, I can pull that up right now and walk you through it. Maybe other people here want to know as well.
What do you want to share about?
About the hard cap, the soft cap, hard cap.
I'll add it as a question, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, I think other than that, I think for the most part, the raise is going well. I have appointments with, we haven't actually gotten any extra soft commitments. Although I do know that Jared from Status says that he's interested, although I didn't get any numbers. So that's good. The problem is he doesn't want to do KYC. But other than that, I think we're on pace. Oh, and maybe Spawnette can tell me how if there's any progress on the token.
That's
Go
ahead.
Yeah, so Max, go ahead.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so I've committed the code I already have just like half an hour ago to the tech token repo. So there's that. So it's in a truffle project. So I have the Minimi token in place, the token controller. But while implementing, there were some questions that I still had on, like certain edge cases or certain behavior which were not yet apparent there. So I would also like to go through these few questions because if they are clarified, then it's possible for me to continue working on it, because depending on how the behavior exactly should be, that will determine the further cause of action on the Solidity files themselves. So I don't know, do we want to go through these questions right now?
Okay. I added the question to the agenda, so we can get to it.
Yeah.
I'll copy and paste it.
Okay.
I think Sponnet had some notes in the other doc. I'll just drop them in there.
Yeah, that's great.
Sounds good. Yeah. Is Loy with us? I think
I
not.
don't believe so.
What did you want updated from Lorelei?
Update on the distribution of funds.
Well, I can say
Oh,
I
sorry.
can say that I need to definitely go into Giveth and accept some proposed milestones. That's on my to-do list. I've been in airports for the most part for the last period of time, and so but I'll make that happen. And then supplier agreements, the terms and conditions is kind of in flux, which is part of the like official supplier agreements. But I think that she has at least approached everyone and gotten numbers. If she hasn't approached you and gotten some numbers or talk about like what kind of compensation you want for the next month, please reach out to her, and we can push this from both angles, from both ways.
Sounds good. I believe there was some points on self-development in the team. Any updates on that?
I think we all kick butt.
Okay. I'll state so. On the governance, well, during the first call.
And it looks like the Oh My God sales sold out, so you can stop worrying about it.
Shit. Thank you. Okay. On the good work environment, anybody knows any updates? I think not.
I don't think so. Other than Coach B is crashing at the Giveth house. That's a nice work environment.
Okay.
Not right now, but he will be.
Yeah.
I'm excited we get to overlap. Anybody else want to come?
Cool. Let's check what we have in Asana. So, yeah, I haven't gotten to the Google search optimization. We'll check it soon. Presentation that summarizes the entire project.
That is really coming together. I'm anticipating the next couple of days, and actually I'm thinking this will be kind of a combined deliverable. Griff, along with our narrative scope for narrative scope cut for the tag, I'm thinking we should keep that narrative scope for our advisor meetings as well, because I don't think we're going to be able to get the complexity of the whole system. It's just like, unless the advisor is super into it, which some of them will be, and we can walk them through deeper. But I think the documents we've been working on are a budding white paper that explains the whole system. And a lot of the detail that we will need down the line, but I don't think that information needs to be ready for our advisor one-on-ones that we need like tomorrow, so we can start these conversations. So I'm proposing that we use this slide deck as a our pitch to the advisor as well, about where we are at and what we are providing with the common stack in the near term, with the why of the far term, but not the how of the far term, and just keep it much more simple. We are looking to raise between almost one. It's important to say below. I think 984 is a good number. It shows that we're really cutting corners on the low end, to 1.5, or sorry, 1.5, 1.25, whatever. Yeah, it's a 25% buffer. So we have a soft cap of $1 million-ish, hard cap of 1.25, and then we're going to start building. And if we,
is it like this conversation about the soft cap, hard cap?
yeah, sorry, I guess I got into that.
Well, I'm just like, my intention is to check whether we need to postpone it, or should I postpone it to some other date then?
What day is today? Today is the 31st. Let's say Friday.
Okay, sounds good. Sorry for interruption.
No, no problem.
Anybody knows about this thing?
Tag CAD workshop details. I can follow up with Z on that. I'll just shoot him a quick message.
Okay. And is this done?
I need to confirm with Bernd and Z. So the numbers that I pulled up, this is the min or soft cap hard cap thing. So this is the same thing keeps coming up. I have a chart here that I drew up. I'm pretty sure it will be similar to Coach B's numbers according to how Z explained it to me this morning.
Okay, let's wait for the confirmation then.
Okay.
Project information docs.
Project information doc. So that's basically, sorry, just 1 second. I'm finishing this message to Z. Okay, send. Project information doc. So this is basically our white paper coming together. I've realized these are behemoth documents to make modifications to, because all these changes have to be propagated through so many different places. And I'm also realizing that we go into such levels of complexity that we do not need to be communicating at this point. We need to focus on the first iteration, CAD, the augmented bonding curve, and the why, and also, you know, working from a place that people understand where we are. DAO plus an augmented bonding curve, it addresses this problem. So
do you mean to say that this task is not relevant, needs to be restructured?
I think it should be pushed a bit longer term, and maybe, I mean, it's wonderful to have for the people who want to dive deeper, but I don't, you know, it can still be a work in progress white paper essentially. So I don't know, what do you think, Griff? Is that, I mean, I would love to have them all done, but I'm just like, my time is, I don't know, it's going into, yeah.
It's not going to be prioritized. Yeah. I like pushing it back to the 16th and then reassessing.
Okay.
Sounds good. Kai, add in the can we publish your name and your Ethereum address to the form?
Yeah, we need the full version of Typeform for this, and unfortunately, I don't have a credit card like you know, a regular. I have only these loadable ones.
I sent you my debit card. I hope debit card will work. If not, I can send you another card.
All right.
Okay, push
If you cannot reach Griff because he's traveling, I also have a credit card. If I can help out with that card.
I sent the card to you in Signal, and I will send. Actually, I didn't send the address and stuff. I need to send that.
Our Keybase. Yeah.
Does Signal not work for you?
No, it works. So no, Signal is great. So on this topic, so if we want to do anything, this will considerably improve our options. So I really think this type form, because like we already mentioned before, that some people might not be comfortable with the KYC in general. The better we can make this, the better it will work, and Typeform can do a lot of stuff. And so, yeah, I will make those changes. But if you have more, and I feel we should somehow come up with a review process of what should be there. But for the time being, I will just integrate mentions like in the channel. You could also make an issue.
I made a comment.
Or in Asana, yeah.
I made a comment in the terms and services document. Hopefully, Coach B, there's some things in the terms and service that may or may not need to be added to the type form. So like age. Are you over 18? Was one thing. I'm just waiting to hear back from Coach B on whether or not that should be added.
Yes, legal audit is very important. And so I will play with it a bit and see if we can group stuff and make it more comfortable to use. And in general, we should do only what we need. And yeah.
Okay, guys, I see that like there's a bunch of tasks that needed to be done. Maybe like in the future, if you would have like Bernd, maybe we will set priorities or something. But so far it seems clear, right? What are the tasks? Let's define what agenda points we want to add for today's call, besides what we already have.
I have a few other things that I wouldn't mind even just adding into Asana during this.
I know Jeff wanted to talk about.
Yeah, about what?
Oh, we lost you, Jeff.
Jeff, what did you want to talk about?
Some more fundraising requirements about around like a donation page where they check terms and conditions, like DXDAO is a good example that Griff showed me the other day.
Okay, at this point, anything else?
Maybe a user journey for the donation process. So people, or is that already in Asana? That might already, that is, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something Spunnet and I need to sync on. I don't know if you have a chance this week at all, Spunnet, like Friday.
Let's discuss it in a minute, okay?
Yeah.
Anything else needed to be added?
Yes, just one moment. Sorry, I'm skipping through these. Oh, where is this? So final, or one of the final questions around our launch on August 23rd is whether we open source CAD at PEG, or if we open source it later to maintain leverage over donations.
Okay. Okay. Added. So should we dive in then? Do we need to prioritize, or this order is fine?
Griff doesn't have a lot of time left, but oh yeah, okay. It's fine for Griff. Okay.
I think we can move through these pretty quick. Basically, the soft cap and hard cap. The soft cap is our minimums, our numbers that we've determined so far. So 984 for the first iteration. The hard cap is just 25% more than that. It is, the first one is we can do it at this. The second one is, we can improve our deliverables or get started on the next one or whatever makes sense. But it basically, so we're looking at like 1.25 million. So that's all we're going to communicate. I mean, yes, iteration 2 is a different number, iteration 3 is a different number, but we're not really talking about those. So we're not going to get into being confused about all these different numbers.
Okay. Did you want to just share that, or do you need some input or anything else?
I think that was just clarifying for Griff. If he gets it, then I'm happy with it.
Griff, how are you with it?
So we're not going to talk about the other numbers for, we have to say them for multipliers, don't we?
So I'll share my screen briefly. Here is done. Don't mind the in-between nature of this thing here. But anyway, this is so we'll say, this is iteration 1, soft cap, hard cap, multiplier. Yes, there are other iterations. Yes, there are other amounts. Now we'll move on to talking about something else. We're not going to go right into detail on this. Is that cool?
Okay, so we don't talk about it, but it's defined, and it's just defined as 25% on top of all the minimums.
Correct.
And what does it mean to be a hard cap?
This means our fund of that iteration ends when we hit the hard cap.
And so if we raise above that hard cap, do we give back that money?
We don't collect more than the hard cap.
So we will stop collecting at iteration one.
We're going to close iteration one, and then we can decide what we want to do with iteration two. We could, I mean, this was the discussion as far as I understood it, that it was not continuous, that it would be round one closes, even if just for the FOMO effect, and we start up round two immediately right after that. Or however long after that makes sense. Is that what you were thinking?
Where does the multiplier at 984, does the multiplier turn into 2x?
I guess we just do it by iteration. First iteration has 2.5. Second iteration has 2. Third iteration has 1.5. 4 has 1.25. 5 has 1.
Yeah, that also dials into some of the questions that I had, because does that mean that the contracts for converting these tokens really stops at the limit of the first iteration, so the 984 plus 25%, and then the contract stops until we reactivate it for phase 2? Because like it was described in the issue lists, the implementation was so that it was continuous. So whenever we raised more than the 984, then it would sort of overflow into the second phase. But so in that case, so it's either you do that and put a hard cap on that number plus 25%, and then that makes sense, and to manually stop it, or to have it self-stop after the hard cap, and then we have to manually reactivate it for phase 2, or we keep it continuous, in which case the 25% doesn't make sense.
So what would you recommend solidity-wise is the continuous? Is that correct, Spotted?
Yeah, so I mean, it's not the question what's easier, it's just a question what's the desired behavior of the code. So do we really want to stop it? So stop it at the hard cap and then like trigger it so it starts phase 2 with a new multiplier and a new cap, or a new soft cap and hard cap? Or do we say, no, it just goes on? So it doesn't really matter much for me to implement it. It's just a choice. It's either A or it's B, but it cannot be both at the same time.
Yeah.
It's more a question of what do we want the behavior to be, and I think it's a less technical issue, but more like how do we want to like explain to people, like, okay, there's this first phase which starts and stops at a certain date or whenever we hit a certain number, which sounds more like a traditional token sale. Or do we just keep piling up money and then we say, okay, now we have enough to do phase 2, now we have enough to do phase 3, and so forth?
Right. So I guess if we, I mean, I see the reasons for continuous, but if we do that, then I don't think we can do the soft cap, hard cap, because if one bucket just flows into the next, then where do we say, you know, the hard cap hasn't been reached or the second iteration hasn't begun?
What I would say, I definitely like continuous, because if people want to put money in, then they put money in, you know, and there's no stopping. It's friction, it's less friction, and it's more normal as well, like, you know, for comfort levels, so people don't have to like guess and have all this extra complication.
Right.
Also increasing the multiplier levels. We're already doing that with this 4x and 3x advisors and all this stuff. So like, we don't need to, we should be careful not to increase the multipliers. So at least I like this idea of like, okay, if we get over the hard cap for an iteration and we don't get to the next one, then we give the money back, you know. And we have like some date where we decide, you know, like that we will make a decision on whether or not we stop or continue the raise.
Guys, I kind of feel that there should be some specifications to the token. Do you have such?
Specifications?
Yeah, describing how this crowd sale needs to go technically.
I mean, this like min max thing was kind of just thrown out
What
by
what was the benefit to that? Do you remember? Because that was my question that I was going to come to. If we want to do continuous, what was the benefit to the soft cap, hard cap?
I have no idea. I never really understood why. I know Spanet and Z were talking, or sorry, not Spanet, sorry, Coach B and Z were talking about it, but like, you know, they never wanted to like explain the details. And I don't know, did you ever get the spreadsheet that they were working on?
They were working on a Jupyter notebook.
So like, I think they're adding way extra complications that don't need to be there, and you know, and I don't understand. And I think we need to stop changing shit. So like,
yeah, no, fair. This is the last time we have to solidify on any of this, but I think it's important to put the thought into what works best. I don't, something you just mentioned before about like stopping and giving back money mid fundraise. I don't know that is like, I don't want to stop the momentum of a raise. Like whatever way we do design this raise, I want to make sure that we are continuing the momentum if we're getting, you know, voluntary contributions.
I observed something here. So it seems like there was some idea Jeff was like developing about how this token should work, and he wanted to share his idea about caps and so on. But then it's unclear who makes the final decision on how it should work, and there is also no documentation that describes it. Will it make
I think Coach B was supposed to make. Well, so there's some kind of ambiguity whether Coach B or I make the decision. Coach B was supposed to make the decision on hard cap or soft cap kind of thing, and I made the minimum numbers. That was what we said before, and Coach B isn't here, so.
And I've been waiting on the decision from Coach B, and I had a quick sync with Z this morning, and he kind of gave me that brief explanation that it's 25% over the soft cap, but I can't recall why we were implementing the min max or the soft cap hard cap in the first place.
With maybe we can add into the discussion the start and end dates of a certain race, because we also want to do that, right? Like have it start at a certain point in time, but also have it end like if we don't raise that much money by that date, that we consider the phase as not funded or something. I mean, that might explain the 25%, because if you say like, no, sorry, then not the 25%, yeah, what will explain actually? You know, it's maybe just a question for clarification to see like, does the start and end date have any involvement with whether it succeeds or not? Otherwise, it might be open-ended, the race. Like if you say phase 2 starts on this date and you don't specify an end date, when do you consider that phase not funded if you don't have an end date?
Right. So that's maybe, I guess probably the documentation that we have drawn up is this Jupyter notebook. I just wish I knew where it was. So Zargam did do basically a user flowchart breakdown of how this. Let me see if
I think that we have other agenda topics and we should move on, and we should pass the buck to Coach B to maybe even schedule a call with us or something, so we can actually discuss just this topic.
Jeff, why have you raised this question at all? What do you need?
Griff mentioned earlier in the call that he didn't understand it, so I thought I would explain my understanding of it, and it opened up a can of worms. So I'm fun.
Would it be like productive to have some document specification on how it should work, or do we have one?
Yeah, no, I'm hoping that's what we'll get from Bernd, and there is a Jupyter notebook from Z that has a lot of detail that we don't need to go into right now.
So who's responsible for making this document? Is it Bernd?
I believe Bernd was assigned in the question document, yeah.
Do you mind if I create a task for him?
Not a problem.
So what questions it should answer? Like this one that Bonnet, right?
It should clarify multipliers. It should clarify when the sale stops. If we give back the money. Yeah, or maybe it's to be more broad. What do we do with over the 25%? Are there dates involved?
I think this is significant scope creep on that answer that Baron was assigned.
Well, but this is the thing. If you want to add in these max mins, it like, you know, we already had kind of a clear. We had clarity, and then threw a wrench in, and then
We didn't really, because we haven't figured out this. Like, we need an end date by which day we return the money under $1 million if we do that. But then, is that still a continuous?
That's the October 15th. Well, that's saying if we don't raise $1 million, then it's over. Otherwise, we keep going till we get to the cap. That was the.
Okay, and can Coach B really make this document? Does he has all the needed information?
Yeah, to be honest, I doubt a little bit if Coach B will have enough information to answer all these questions, because I think part of it is also just how we want to explain the contributions that they do to the tech token to people. So I think it's Coach B's only it's only Coach B's call to decide on that. I think it has a narrative part in it as well.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. So I state that as a decision appointed task to Coach B to get the answers, right?
Yeah, exactly. I could also help in like writing out the definitions, but I think it will be more in like issues on the GitHub that really clarify and specify how it should be implemented and what the behavior of the contract in the end should be. But that can be done through input that's discussed on another call that maybe Coach B could organize.
Okay, sounds good.
I'd be happy to join in on that if there were any questions I can help answer. Spawn it. I'm not. I don't have too many specifications under my belt, but I can definitely contribute question and answer.
Yeah. Just a question: when are you guys in Barcelona together? When's that overlap?
On the 5th. 5, 6, 7, 8, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Might look into maybe coming there then.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
That'd be perfect.
Sorry, like we have really like a short time. So,
yeah,
Jeff, will it work for you if you do like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Spanet, will it work for you if it would be this question would be included on this document?
Yeah, sure. There's only one like urgent question for me is that do we want to deploy that contract before the when is it, the 23rd of August, to put in the contributions of the team members and of the advisors? Do we want to show like a balance already of tech tokens on the launch event, or is that not crucial?
I would say let's go for it, and if we can't, we can't. But it's always nice to have a deadline.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Do we have such a task?
Yeah, I mean, it's on my plate to create it and to deploy it. The only thing is, if we want to do that, it needs to be in line with an audit of the contracts, and also like just picking a date when we can actually deploy it, and it should be like a comfortable number of days before the 23rd of August.
Okay. So when should the audit happen?
That's already somewhere in the Asana. I thought it was somewhere around the 12th of July, between the 12th and the 15th, as far as I can remember.
Yeah, sounds good. And who should do that? Is it on you?
Yeah, I was hoping that Griff would line up somebody to actually do it. I don't know if there's an update on that.
Do you mind do that? Griff, could you help with that, Spanet?
I don't know if he's still here.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll follow.
Next question. Like we have 2 minutes. Do we want to extend it a bit, or do we want to close on time?
For me, it's fine to expand a bit.
I'm good to extend.
Okay. Should we take another question before end? Like this one, or maybe another one?
Yeah, which ones of those are most important? I guess this is one potentially for you, Max, or at least it was listed in the former notes about having a donation page on the website where this is part of the user journey of the fundraise. That they get to the page and they see something similar to what you get when you go to the DXDAO page. It is a very lengthy, thorough terms and conditions and lots of kind of important check boxes for. Maybe Griff can provide the link if this is Griff. Hello, Gister. He might be on his phone.
Yeah, making such a page is easy for me, but I need the content. Who could provide this content?
Griff. Griff has the link. I will look for it.
Are you talking about the DXDAO link?
Yeah.
It's like stake for your vote DXDAO. Yeah, I'm on my phone now. My Wi-Fi failed at LAX.
Stake for your vote.
Yeah, but we can. I mean, the main thing is like doing it. It turns it into a DApp. I don't know if this is again very much scope creepy, and I don't know if we can make that happen right now or if that we should try. It would be a SpaNet. It would be a SpaNet thing because basically we need to turn this thing into a DApp.
Oh, it's an app. Okay. Okay. I have the link here. Yes, I did not realize that. I thought it was just a condition on the website or terms and conditions.
Okay.
If we just want to pop, I think the current plan is to put the terms and conditions inside the type form, so that when people apply, they get the terms and conditions. Now, and then the other thing is the donation application that SpaNet makes that will be tied into the contract. That's another animal, and that can be more integrated with some of this stuff.
So Jeff, what do you still want something from me, or does it need some additional consideration?
No, I think T's and C's will be included on the type form. And the rest of the user will be mapped out in the process that we will be talking about next.
Okay, then I'll remove this one. Are we done with it?
Pardon, sorry?
Okay. It was fun. Should we take another one like this?
Yeah, I'm game for that.
So what will you like and from whom?
So did someone say they would be willing to help out with the user journey for the donation process? I guess that's this whole the token contract and how it's going to work with dates and everything else.
Yeah, I really would love to have because we did this as a group, or at least a half group, and have something mapped out in Mural. But I would love to hack that together with SpaNet so he has a clear vision for what he needs to do for the token contract in DApp.
Cool.
Yeah, sure. Aim for that as well.
Maybe we can schedule time on Friday?
Yeah, it would be perfect. Almost our whole Friday is still open. We'll do that right now.
Sure, yeah. My Friday is pretty open too. Sometime around I don't know what time this meeting is supposed to be, but maybe after the Common Stack meeting.
Yeah, sure.
Do we have a time for the Common Stack meeting on Friday?
That was my attention. It's still undefined. I wanted to check about that.
That's
Yeah,
my
but
only conflict, so.
Let's just say that it's after that call, whatever time it is.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we maybe then discuss the Friday call time?
Sure.
Yeah, maybe if you lock that down, and we automatically have the other as well.
Yeah. So problem is, Sponat says he's not available. What did he say? Like 6 to 9. Time.
I think it was Coach B. Coach B is not available 6 to 9.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, Coach B isn't available at the evening, and it's getting super late when he's. He said 6 to 9 can do so.
So was there an option of a 9 p.m.? So it's
Yep.
either 5 or 9 p.m. Is that correct?
Worked for Coach B, and I was actually the only one who didn't fill that one in. But so for me, 9 p.m. I'm fine. If I say yes there, we have 9 p.m. So we can just go for 9 p.m. For now.
But
As long as that's not bad for Max. Because Max is that's. Yeah.
Please be aware, it's not the Central European time, it's Kiev time, because I looked it on my computer. So it's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
That's the confusion. I was like, I saw it differently in the doodle myself. So that's 8 p.m. Okay. Yeah. Well, if Bernd, yeah, I think. Well, Bernd indicated 8 p.m. right? So I guess 8 p.m. should work for him.
I could remake the thing, because like the only thing that bothers me, like I can't do like really late night, but like Friday is usually like the day more like people go out, so it would be like Thursday or Monday, I don't know, that would be totally fine. Maybe I should recreate them.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea.
Okay, so recreate for not Friday. Yeah, and provide more.
Because I would rather not try to do a doodle and for the very next meeting, but just for this next meeting, I think Lorelai and I can make a 5. At least I can make a 5 p.m. and I imagine that will make it so that Lorelai has to.
Okay, so it's like 5 p.m. set, right? Or what time?
Yeah, and for the CET 5 p.m. Yeah, and for the next Max, maybe you can indeed make a doodle, but put that in the options for both Thursday and Friday. Then we can see what comes out of that.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's do like that. New doodle.
Yeah,
okay,
that's fine as well.
Keep this Friday 5 p.m. set. And do you want to create somebody create
Sorry, didn't catch that.
Could you like for the user journey? Could somebody create a calendar invite?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, thank you. So it's 6 p.m. So.
Do we want to consider moving the Tuesday meeting to Monday and doing Monday Thursday instead of Tuesday Friday?
Yeah, maybe you can maybe do a doodle for both, Max. Yeah, if you put on Monday and Tuesday in there and Thursday and Friday and people fill in everything, then you can find 2 dates that work for most of the people, I guess.
Yeah, I will do that.
Okay.
Do you want to take the final one, or should we close?
I'm good to do one more. I feel like this is a topic that should be at least briefly discussed.
Okay, drive it.
Okay. So basically, there is a tension between Block Science's preference to open source CAD as quickly as possible, and the Common Stack desire to keep it until the raise commences, so that we ensure we get contributions of people who are interested in open sourcing CAD. So we have a budget of 200 to 250,000 going to open source CAD in iteration 1 raise. There is a thought to do a pre-raise from advisors and core team to earmark that pre-raise for open sourcing CAD so that we can launch an open source CAD at TEG as sort of a to get the ball rolling on contributions to the Common Stack, and basically offering it as a token engineering tool to be used in building the token engineering commons and getting people excited about the raise. However, this brings up, as Griff pointed out today, anybody who is interested in contributing primarily to open source CAD would no longer be incentivized to participate. So we have a tension of, I guess, a preference of open sourcing CAD as early as August 23rd or as late as September 23rd when the raise opens, and presumably our first 200 to 250,000 DAI can immediately be transferred to Block Science.
So you want a feedback round, or do you need decision from Griff?
I mean, I feel like we need some input from Zargam or Jonathan from Block Science, and I'm hoping we can come to some kind of compromise. And maybe, I mean, originally we were looking at October 15th as a worst case for raising this money. So looking at October 15th compared to August 23rd is a long window. But perhaps Block Science would be happy if we could transfer them the money on September 23rd, for example, the first day of the raise rather than the last day of the raise. So if they're happy with that compromise, we can move forward. Otherwise, we need to figure out a best course of action.
So do you need anything from the group that is here?
Are there any opinions on?
Well, is this something
Yeah,
we discussed? Like, do we need to decide that as a group, because it's a big decision, like really changing and making the story again more complex? I mean, Block Science gets open source, CAD gets open source at the start. That is kind of a big decision, right?
Griff, did you want to weigh in, or did you feel like I covered your concerns?
I don't see.
Or we probably lost him again.
He's fellow Jitster, but yeah, he might be I see pretty bad connection.
Yeah, right. Well, if my ideas counts, I would say that money first.
As in, do the raise in full before the open source, or
No, like that doesn't not necessary, but at the least with 200, 250, like not like just not before. We get at least those, but also consider if you would need to refund people, then this would work.
so this would be basically core team and advisors, and we would be saying, look, you'll get a 3x multiplier, but there's no refund on this. This is basically earmarked to CAD. So it would also depend on whether we have that amount of money from core team and advisors. Otherwise, the point is moot anyway.
Yeah, that would have also been my concern if we don't actually raise that first chunk, like the 800 or 984K, and if we decide not to proceed, there's no way to unopen source it,
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if we do raise the 250 pre-funding round, I would feel fairly confident of making it the other 3/4 of the way.
Yeah.
But that is a good point. So things to consider. I will touch base with Block Science. I'll write Jonathan and Zargam about some options and see what they think. So that can be an action point from there.
It also could be something like if you raise an additional 250,000 from external people, so not advisors or core team, maybe that could be like a threshold to say, okay, then at least we also have, besides open sourcing CatCat, some other money to work with. Then we're sure that it's not like the only thing is a sort of a sinkhole into open sourcing CatCat, and that would be our only action item if nobody wants to invest. But I mean, maybe I'm just playing devil's advocate here, because if people see that there's already that much contributions from advisors and core team, then I'm pretty sure that people will be incentivized to also contribute.
Right.
So I think we can close it for now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And before we finish the call, I'd like to ask for the closing thought. How was this call for you, and what can be improved in the future, if organization-wise? Jeff, maybe you can start.
Sure. I think perhaps you and I can sit down for half an hour at some point and just integrate all of the points from our former agenda into the new agenda, just all these talking points. Maybe we can do that pre-call and then just have your tactical version moving forward. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me write it down. And please pass to somebody when you finish.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll pass it to Spana.
Yeah, I think it's very good, Max, that you sort of keep people in line with the topics, and that there's beforehand a list of things that we need to discuss, so it doesn't creep away time-wise, or we just have to cut it out after 1 hour. So I think it's a good approach. But I would also back what Jeff says, like to sort of have a rolling agenda, what I understood, so integrate these things beforehand. Yeah. I'll pass it to Chris.
Okay. I like the facilitation that you were doing, Max. Especially also that we start with the ones that are due today to just do a quick checkoff. It's a good habit to do, that we really started getting into the habit of using Asana. And I guess that's it for now. And I pass it to Kai.
so many windows. Thanks. Yeah, cool meeting. Thank you, Max, for also have to say great facilitation. Nice to get things done. I will do some stuff with the Typeform. I hope we can review those in one of the calls later on in this week. And I give it to who's left. Yeah, you, Max.
Thanks so much. I hope it's not too uncomfortable to try it like this new way, and really like your support here. Thanks so much, and talk to you soon.
Thanks so much.
Cheers. Bye.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Jeff.